Hey guys, my name is Alex Barham, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about GoPros. Now, obviously they've been out forever, a lot of people have them, and in the last couple of years they've really gotten a bad rap as kind of like beater gear, I guess you could say. And while I do understand that always having a blinking red light in your face when your buddy's looking at you can be kind of weird, personally, I really think there's a ton of value to filming yourself and critically reviewing it. Doesn't mean that everything that you shoot is gold and should go straight into social media. What I'm saying is, because you're capturing your action, you can then go back, just like any number of football teams, soccer teams, any pro sports organization is always filming and tentatively reviewing and monitoring their performance. There's no reason that we can't do the same thing. And in fact, a lot of top tier pros are doing this. They are watching themselves on a regular basis, figuring out why something was really good, why something totally missed, and how they can dial themselves in to get that style that they really want. So we're going to look at 4 scenarios that I threw together for the purpose of demonstration. The first one is going to be learning how to do a move when you keep missing it because things are just happening really fast, right? The second one is going to be focusing in on why something went wrong when you're not really sure and figuring out how to correct that for the future. Third is going to be, okay, this was perfect. Why did this go perfectly? Let's understand what went right. And finally, one of the best uses for this technique is actually freestyle. It's, especially in big waves, very hard sometimes to understand why something went perfect and why something was a total flop. And by reviewing, we can really dial this in and figure out what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong in learning and mastering these tricks. So I hope you enjoy this. So this first scenario is going to be a typical instance of things going way too fast for you to figure out what's going on. So this was my first weekend in the Phantom, and I was trying to get the Knife's Edge booth to go. And boom. Alright, so let's immediately just take it back and go through slower. If I scroll through, I can see I'm super tight to the rock, which is where I want it to be. Separating, and I came off significantly short. So go for more strokes on the next one, and let's see if I can tighten her up. After video review, come back the next day, started way further left to get that drive into the pocket behind the rock, and closer, but definitely still came off early. Much closer though. So that worked. Let's back up one more time. Definitely going kind of slow, right? I think we can get a couple more strokes in there. And here's the money. Came in hot, got as many strokes in as I could. Boom! Nailed it. So, typical example of when you're not really sure what's happening because it's all happening so fast. Here we're going to look at a booth that went really well. And we're going to figure out why it went so well. This is a ferry out to a very specific point. And you can see right here that I'm aiming to tap the top of the rock and throw the boat down into this air gap. I know that my heels are what the point of contact is probably going to be, which is about here on my boat, and that I want to be driving up onto the point this way, which means I'll need a right-hand stroke. And if I put that all together at the right timing, I should just fly. So, boom, there it is. By coming in really fast and hot, as soon as I touch, my stroke is grabbing. and there it is, full separation. That's where that photo was taken. It's always good to learn from our mistakes, right? So let's take this line, which happened just a moment after that sweet boof, and see where it went wrong. Because Clay was standing right there on that rock. I have paddled this rapid many times, and both of us basically were scratching our heads to say, what happened? So coming in hot, everything's good, everything's not good. Alright, and when something happens that fast, I don't know, I didn't see anything that went wrong there. So let's try it again. Here's the point of impact where everything goes wrong. Now suddenly I can see that with all this water rushing down to that hole, I am giving up my entire left edge. So given that, if this downward water loads, yeah, I'm going to power flip. And sure enough, I bet you that's what happens. Let's look at it in slow-mo. Yep, back stern corner catches, and there I go. So, even though we know exactly where I flipped, we don't really know why I flipped yet, right? Let's go all the way back up to the top and try this one more time. Now, in order to not have flipped in that seam, really what did I need? I needed more right angle in my hips, and the boat needed to be pointed towards about 1 o'clock. Neither of those things happened, so let's figure out where it actually went wrong. So here, boat angle's good, sticking out where I want to be, everything seems all right. Okay, here's our problem right here. When I nudge this last rock, boom, right there, right? So the solution was probably way back here, all the way almost from the start. If I had entered further to the left over here and driven out, that would have been better. So instead of coming up high and letting my turn down the first time and then trying to get both left and right at the same time on the second drop, right there, I would have solved all of my problems. So now I know the next time I come into this rapid, I want to be significantly further left and coming in slow instead of what I was trying to do, which was show off in front of Clay and come in straight and hot. So next time I'll line up coming directly into this first curler and let this green water shove me out into that pocket where I want it to be. Let's look now at an example of big wave freestyle. One of the things I really noticed in Uganda was the number of extremely good athletes who every night were religiously watching their footage. So here's a great air screw. Now, definitely had better during the trip, but for the Stacy example, let's see here. Couldn't have gotten any taller on the wave. Good first drop. There's the skip. Out. Got around quick. Stuck it nicely. So we'll use that as the baseline example to compare everything else to. Here we go. We can see today there's a lot more foam. Much lower setup, but by cranking around much faster by comparison to my first one, I was actually able to get a nicer, straighter rotation and pop up much faster. So that lesson was well learned, that although I started much higher on this foam pile, my rotation was slow. So I wound up actually landing on my side as opposed to coming all the way around like over here. You can see clearly landing on my hull because I was snapping and looking over for the sky to come back around. Now, you can also use this to look at when things go completely wrong to figure out what happened. So, setup here looks okay. Skip. Instantly, I can kind of see that something in this rotation isn't quite right? And bam, there it is. Never completely flattened out to the back, and without leaning all the way back and my feet crunching in, I absolutely toe in and cork around, and I think I ultimately, there, flush off. So by reviewing my footage there, I could really spend the time to figure out what I'm doing wrong and bring it back to that first one versus just saying like, oh, I was tired, the wave was weird and flushy today. Like, no, clearly I'm doing something wrong. There's a lesson to be learned here. So by taking the time to catch it, I will become a better boater faster. All right, so that's it. I hope you learned something from this, and I hope you're able to critically review your own stuff and figure out how to become a better paddler. So if you like that, hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.